June 1941. Nazi Germany is unstoppable. In just days, Hitler's armies crush everything in their path. Tanks roll through forests. Infantry follows like a flood. The Red Army is collapsing. And then, on a narrow road near a quiet Soviet village, an entire German armored column suddenly stops. Not because of mines, not because of air power, but because of one single tank. One crew, 5 men. By the end of the day, 22 German tanks are destroyed, and history barely remembers their names. Operation Barbarossa begins on June 22, 1941. Nazi Germany launches Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in human history. Over 3 million German soldiers cross into the Soviet Union, thousands of tanks, total air superiority. The Red Army is caught completely unprepared. Entire Soviet divisions are wiped out in days. German commanders believe the war in the East will be over before winter. They are wrong. The man behind the tank, his name is Senior Lieutenant Zinovy Grigoryevich Kolobanov, a professional tank officer, veteran of the Winter War against Finland. He commands a KV-1 heavy tank, one of the most heavily armored vehicles in the world at that time. Armor thickness, up to 90 millimeters. German anti-tank guns can barely scratch it, but the KV-1 has weaknesses. Slow speed, limited visibility, mechanical failures. Used badly, it dies like any other tank. Used well, it becomes a fortress. The mission date, August 19, 1941. Location, near Krasnogvardeysk, modern-day Gachina, south of Leningrad. German forces are pushing hard toward Leningrad. Soviet command gives Kolobanov a desperate order. Delay the enemy at all costs. Not defeat, not counterattack, just delay. Kolobanov positions 5 KV-1 tanks along key roads. Each tank digs in hold-down positions, only the turret exposed. They camouflage the vehicles carefully. Kolobanov chooses a narrow road surrounded by marshy ground. German tanks will have nowhere to maneuver. It's a trap. The first contact late afternoon. German tanks appear, Panzer III and Panzer IV, advancing confidently. They do not expect resistance. Kolobanov waits. He lets the first tank pass, then the second, then the third. Only when the column is fully committed does he give the order. Fire. The first German tank explodes, then the last tank in the column. The road is sealed. The Germans are trapped. The killing ground. What follows is one of the most extraordinary defensive actions in armored warfare history. Kolobanov's KV-1 fires with precision. One shell, one tank. German shells bounce harmlessly off the KV-1's armor. Anti-tank guns are brought forward. They fail. German crews panic. They cannot see the enemy clearly. They cannot flank. They cannot retreat. Kolobanov calmly directs fire. Tank after tank burns. 22 tanks destroyed by the end of the engagement. 22 German tanks destroyed by Kolobanov's single KV-1 over 150 armor-piercing rounds fired. His tank is hit over 100 times, 0 penetrations. The armor holds. The gun overheats. Ammunition runs dangerously low, but the German advance is stopped cold. For hours, the other 4 tanks. Kolobanov is not alone. The other 4 KV-1 crews, positioned on nearby roads, also engaged German columns. Together, the 5 Soviet tanks destroy 43 German tanks in one day. For the German advance toward Leningrad, this delay is critical. Every hour matters. Every road matters. Aftermath. Eventually, German artillery is brought in. The Soviet tanks withdraw. Kolobanov survives the battle, but the victory goes largely unnoticed. The Soviet Union in 1941 is suffering catastrophic losses. Heroic actions disappear inside the scale of disaster. Kolobanov is recommended for the title Hero of the Soviet Union. He does not receive it. Instead, he is awarded the Order of the Red Banner. History moves on. Later life. Kolobanov continues to serve. In September 1941, he is severely wounded. Shrapnel nearly kills him. He survives but never returns to frontline tank command. He lives through the war, and through the silence that follows. Here is the irony. Germany had better strategy, better coordination, and early in the war momentum. But it underestimated one thing: prepared defenders. One tank, used intelligently, placed correctly, changed the course of an entire day's advance. History often celebrates generals and grand offensives, but sometimes history turns on a narrow road, a patient commander, and 5 men inside a steel box who refused to move. Zinovy Kolobanov did not stop the war, but on one August day in 1941, he stopped an army. and proved that even in the darkest moments of history, discipline, preparation, and courage can still rewrite the outcome.